close this year, but it looks like Dennis Charlotte is on fire. Dennis losing one race to crash down in the South Island as well. Real pretty the first one. Ready for the start. The lights go out and a good clean start, I think, for everybody there. It is Dennis Charlotte off into the first corner. The thunder of these little wee twin and single cylinder bikes. You can certainly hear the KTM singles out there over a bit louder and a bit more thundery than the 250 and 300 and 320cc bikes of the 250 production and the lightweight class. Dennis Charlotte leads onto the back straight, and in third place, I think that's possibly Brent Garvin there. Brent Garvin there in third place. We're looking out there, body to be Richard Willits. In fact, it looks to be a little like Richard Willits. Fourth place is Grant Ramage there, and let's go in the middle there to second place, Tim MacArthur. Tim MacArthur's got past, and he's the only man that can seriously do battle at the moment with Dennis Charlotte, but maybe we'll see Richard Willits up there fighting. And don't forget the long time stalwart of 250 production. He used to race in the old days when it was 250cc two-strokes many years ago, and that is Grant Ramage. Also gone to superbikes, went to Malaysia doing superbikes, and I think he was racing on 600s at some stage, and a man that's been around forever. And he said, "You're going to come out next season?" I said, "Well, I'm 52 or 53 years old, don't know how many years I've got." So they just travel around the circus of the New Zealand Superbike Championships and enjoy themselves and get some good results too. We had 5 races at Manfield a couple of years back, a double header there, and we had 5 different people set lap records, and Grant Ramage was one of those. Here we go, up on the inside to try and have a look through it. Tim MacArthur at the end of the front straight, but no, he didn't quite get in front of Dennis Charlotte there. Dennis showing a little bit of wider corner speed and just getting out of that corner. They're on the back straight. Will we see some slipstreaming happening? With probably 3 to 4 bike lengths between first and second. Dennis opens that up to maybe 10, 12 bike lengths. I don't think there's enough gap there for the slipstreaming to actually happen at the moment, Neil Ritchie.
No, it looks to be pretty tough for him out there for sure at the moment. So Dennis Charlotte, Tim MacArthur, the buffer is certainly, it was a tighter buffer here across the line, but I'll tell you what, it's gone out to probably 0.1, 0.2 of a second. Doesn't sound much, does it? You're talking about a tenth of a second. It is next to nothing of start, but when you actually do the speed that these guys are doing, and these machines, of course, now that we've really gone past that sort of 170 barrier, we're all around knocking the 180 to 190 k's now, so these are real bikes that are able to do a significant speed. So and of course, yes, as Spider's riding down here, we'll be getting a new lap record because this is a brand new class. It was thought to be an extension to the 250s, and we've realised that no, there's still a lot of 250s around. The new bikes being made, manufacturers are moving away from their 250s, so the new Kawasaki, the new Yamaha are moving to that 300cc, and of course with the 390 of the single KTM as well. So it was unfair to put new bikes in with the 250s because they were certainly a under capacity bike. So we've left the 250 production and called this new one lightweight production. The key word being production. They've still got to do it be a production based motorcycle, so it's not a bike that's enhanced in any shape or form. Significantly power-wise, yes, minor changes such as mufflers allowable. So there we go, the difference in the two classes. So we go back to our 250 production and see at the moment we've got Lewis Stray and Jacob Stroud in there. So Lewis looking to get up on young Jacob. Young Jacob, of course, well, I wouldn't say debut campaign. He's done the odd race here in the business. This is his first ever series to do the national championship. And of course, we're 3 in a row here at the moment, which is great for the young man who featured on the feature photo in the Southland Times last week, even though in fact it wasn't his name that was credited with the photo, but it was his riding performance. Brought to us by Timaru Yamaha, of course. Yamaha right here on the Hilton Highway, Washdyke in Timaru. On the phone at 688 7611, timaruyamaha.co.nz. Mr. Grant Ramage, super salesman extraordinaire, and giving you the quality Yamaha brand right here in the South Canterbury capital, including accessories like Shoei, Shirai, Berica, ST, Michelin and Pirelli. So just some of the quality specialist brands, although many others available at your favourite bike shop in South Canterbury. Timaru Yamaha, proud to be supporting our lightweight production 250 racing. So our 2 winners out there, or leaders at the moment I should say, Dennis Charlotte lightweight production, and back in 7th place for 250s Lewis Trey. Could this be Lewis's benefit finally on this one, Spider, because he's been almost so many times? Could be the real opportunity. He's
had a lot of podiums so far this season of the last 2 rounds, and this might be his crowning glory. But I'll tell you what, nobody gives up, and Jacob Stroud have been dogging him all the way through. Alex Powers was right up there in the last race, unfortunately jumped the start, so got pushed back 20 seconds. That's a standard penalty, 20-second penalty. They will display it up on the screen at the start-finish line. We're too busy, it was such an exciting race to notice that, but the gap between first and second was 0.334. It's now down to 0.287. With look how much quicker Tim MacArthur is, not much at all. A 13.746, a 13.793, sorry, for Dennis Charlotte. So .050 of a second. They come into the bus stop, and it is lap 3. This is listed as being, I think, an 8-lap race, so it's lap 3, and Dennis has got a bit of a break on Tim McArthur. Tim's all keen to get right up and behind him because then he can take the advantage of the slipstream. What it also does, because he's tucking in the slipstream, it actually slows Dennis down a little bit, but it's about getting close enough in behind you as they come around the big Castrol sweeper, close enough in behind, so you are gaining the advantage of that, and not quite going to happen at the moment. I think the legs of this Kawasaki that Tim McArthur might be a little bit longer at the start of at the end of the straight, but not so much at the start. That single cylinder case again seems to get the punch out of the corner. No, the gap has actually widened up. Great battle on there for 3rd place, and 4th place it is Richard Willits and Grant goes right round the outside to the John Jones steel corner, just carries higher corner speed, and from coming out of the Castrol corner with 6 bike lengths between those two, he's turned it into a 6 bike advantage. So there he is, Grant Ramage riding the number 50. Probably somebody said it was the most beautifully presented bike in the pits here last weekend, and it's great to see the whole team out there and doing their thing. They come out of the hairpin, the lead bikes, it still is Dennis Charlotte there, but Tim McArthur's tightened up that little gap as they went off the John Jones steel corner. He's tightened up the gap but can't quite get into that slipstream.
It's not enough, is it, Spider? It's just not enough. He can't really. That's actually too wide. Now, you think it's a close race? Yes, it is. The advantage between them are 0.69, so 7/10 of a second, but it's just not enough at any place where Tim can try and get an advantage. So go into a corner, come out of the corner, a little bit of different line. What he's trying is not working, so there it is, 0.7 of a second. When you hear that, you think, wow, that's close, but the speed these guys are doing, that converts into probably 20-odd bike lengths, and it's just not enough time. And of course, McArthur can't get slow enough behind Dennis to get any slipstream advantage going along the corner, and along the straight. And in my favourite corner of any road races circuit in New Zealand, the John Jones steel, that beautiful symmetrical sweeper at the end between that and of course the corner at Teretonga off the end of the straight as well. They're just beautiful the way they roll around. You've got the one of course at Teretonga, it comes back on itself, so it eventually comes round as a 180, but taking a lot longer. But this one just perfectly goes through the 90, and it comes away with the guys, unless you're on big bikes. These guys, actually, they'll hold the same power on all the way through that corner. These being lightweight bikes of 250, 300, 320 and 390cc, depending on which of the manufacturer's brand you're talking about. So within it, the 250 reduction, and Jacob Stroud has moved up, so good work by Jacob. So Jacob Stroud moving up on Lewis Dray, as he's done so with the other racing. So we have out there at the moment our two number 15 bikes, because of course the 250 was actually Dennis Charlotte's, and Jacob's hopped on board with that number 15 as well. So we've got our two numbers that we're keen to look out for. So both of our class leaders are on bikes out there with the same number. It's 1-5 for each of them. So well done to Jacob. And then we go to Lewis Dray and Alex Bowers. And Alex, we're going to make the podium. And I'll tell you what, after an imposed penalty after a jump start in the previous race, that would be thoroughly deserved as well, Spider Stables, to have Alex make that podium. He'd really deserve that one.
Oh yeah, I will have to correct you, Neil. Sorry, but it isn't Dennis Charlotte that owns that bike. It's his wife, Angela Charlotte. It's her bike. Yeah, but I think I've seen Dennis on that bike more than Angela and other riders now, and it's great to see them leading that machine. And Jacob's been a bit harder than gear. He crashed here yesterday, I think, had a crash at the Castrol corner and that, and comes back in. The bike's not damaged really enough to warrant major repairs, so he got back out there. So it is Angela's, but small point there, still the Charlotte family. And speaking of Charlotte families, there it is. The white flag comes out for Dennis Charlotte. He's now up to a 1.58 seconds, 1.58 seconds. So Richard Willits and Grant Ramage. Grant Ramage has got through. I saw them on the last lap coming through here. Grant tried to tuck up at the into turn one, and Richard Willits shut the door there, but now there is a gap there. There is a gap there, probably 15 bike lengths for third and fourth. It is the old boy from Timaru, two old boys from Timaru. Grant Ramage on the beautifully prepared number 50 bike, and the Alan Ramage Memorial will be run later on the day. That is Grant's brother, and hopefully we'll see Mother Chook out here to present the trophy as well. Hopefully she has had a knee replacement during the year and is struggling with that, but hopefully she'll make it out here to get the presentation away with that. So Jacob Stroud still out there in the front of the 250 production class, and he's got about I think about 0.1 of a second, 0.1 of a second. Where in fact, looking down the back straight, I think Lewis Dray got him back. Lewis Dray got him back, and Stroud tries up on the inside. They go into the John Jones steel corner. Stroud's got the inside, and he's got it. He's held it off, and Lewis can't do much about it. But right in that sort of back is Alex Bowers, only 2 to 3 bike lengths behind. So tight racing. They're racing out the front. Here we go. Dennis Charlotte taking another checkered flag for the lightweight class with Tim MacArthur, number 39, going through in second. It is Grant Ramage there going through the bus stop. Flip, flop, flip. And another fine third place for Grant Ramage. Richard Willits goes through there in fourth place. We're getting, that's that's Kevin Goddard. Sorry, Kevin Goddard, Gavin Beltmire and Brendan Booth. Here we go. The battle for the 250s comes into the bus stop. Lewis Dray's gone back down to third. Alex Bowers in second place. It may change. Look at the drivers getting out here. Jacob Stroud. Can Bowers get it? No. There was one bike length between first and third. Absolutely sensational finish to the 250 production class, Neil.
Yeah, Alex Bowers, how to do that? Good work. Look at that. And Jacob, he knew he was under all sorts of pressure. That's the quality of a good class with even bikes. You know they're all playing the rules when you get them following that close together. So fantastic. As we pick up our times, in fact, we can get an idea of the difference. So we have the difference behind the race leaders at 31.